How do you get the size of an object in JavaScript? How do you know if it's empty or not? While this sounds quite simple at first, it's not as straightforward as you might think. While we can simply use the .length property of an array to find out how many elements are inside it, there's no such feature for objects. In case you want to find out how many properties and/or methods are inside an object, you gotta get a little creative. So today you will learn about 3 handy functions that can give you the size of an object. The first one lets you check if an object is empty, meaning you have no properties or methods inside. To get started, we create 2 objects. One is called character, and it has the following properties: name, Pepper, surname, Pig, and age, 4. It also has a method called sayStuff that prints oink oink to the console. Then we have an empty object that has no properties or methods inside. Now, all we need to do is write a new function called isObjectEmpty. As an argument, we accept an object. Then we simply check if the number of keys of this object is 0, meaning it's empty. We get the keys into an array by writing object.keys and passing our object as the argument. Then call the .length property and check if it equals 0. This can be either true or false, so we will return the statement in our function. Let's try it out. We console.log if character and empty object are empty, and as expected, it shows us the correct result. But maybe you don't want to know if an object is empty, but rather how many properties and methods it has in total. Here's how to do it. Create a new function called getObjectSize and allow an object as the argument. Inside, create a count variable and set it to 0. Now loop over each key of the object by saying for let key in object. Inside the for loop, check if the property is set on the object itself instead of being inherited from another object. Do that by writing if object.hasOwnProperty and pass the key as the argument. It now checks if the property was not inherited from its prototype. Lastly, add 1 to the count variable in each iteration and return count after the for loop has run. Let's try it out. In the console, we call the getObjectSize function for both character and empty object. As you can see, everything works as it should. Lastly, let's write a function that counts either the number of properties or the number of methods. It's similar to the one before with a few tweaks. First, we'll create a function called getObjectMembersByType. Properties and methods are both referred to as members in object-oriented programming. We pass 2 arguments, object and type. We give type a default value of property. Again, we create the count variable and set it to 0. Loop over the object keys with a for loop and print out the type for each object member. As you can see, methods are of type function, whereas the rest can be strings, numbers, and so on. So, inside our for loop, let's check if we have a method or not. If we set the parameter type to method, then we want to count the methods only. So we say if object.hasOwnPropertyKey and type of object key equals function, then we want to increment our count variable. Now copy the whole if statement and change it to an else if. Let's check if type equals property. If that's the case, we want to see if the object member is not of type function, meaning it must be a property. Again, we increment the count variable. Last but not least, at the end of our function, we return the count variable. So let's try it out. We create a variable type equals property and another one called type2 equals method. Then we print the type variable and return value from our getObjectMembersByType function where we pass character and type as the arguments. Let's copy it and change type to type2. Now you can see that we correctly count properties and methods of an object. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and make sure to check out more videos on the channel.